just irritated because Michelle was still moving slow as
Boom,
hell.
boom, boom, boom.
I'm like, bro, speed up. She's like, all I'm doing is cutting, but you're cutting it wrong in the first place, and it broke. Like, fuck you. I have to actually, dude. That's how you know someone's doing their job wrong if I actually have to work.
Well,
like, come on now.
How dare I have to do my job at my place of employment?
Of course.
God.
this is
so bad.
this is the life and times of the. I'm just a job hopper. I'm going to work here for a certain amount of time. But the people who come in now, the weird thing is you've already seen this, right? When I'm pulling in, and this is something I think that human beings need to take into consideration, right? When I'm pulling in, and let's say I'm going to go to X, Y, and Z sandwich shop, right? Where they make it right in front of you. I think you know some of the places.
Right.
And as I'm turning in, and I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm not going to go through a drive-through. I'm going to get out of my car and walk in. When I walk in, hey, how you doing? I need a steak and cheese on, Parmesan oregano. I want lettuce, onion, tomato, jalapeno. I want some oregano on top, salt and pepper, and whatever, right? I know my whole order. My whole order is set. Like, it is 100% done. Now, the biggest problem is I walk in behind the lady who, let me get a, this, and this, right? And okay, what kind of bread? I don't know. Let me see. Ooh, that sounds good. Let me dip. And there are 4 people behind you, right? There are 4 people standing behind you, and you're picking up which bread and as if they don't know anyone else on the planet exists.
And
like,
some of us are on the clock. We only get like half an hour for lunch. I'm trying to get my damn sandwich and go back.
Or you're just hungry, and yes, or you're on lunch break or whatever, and then they'll go through and okay, what kind of cheese do you want, right? I don't care, cheese. Stuff that used to be milk and you churned it and you did whatever, you put some hocus pocus and it turned into cheese. That's what I want, right? You want American or this, and it all looks the same. It's the exact same still. I don't believe that, any of these places have different cheese, right? I just believe it's the same doggone cheese. It's in a little triangle, freaks me out. Just put whatever cheese on there. You go through. This lady will what kind of cheese? Oh, I don't know, this and that. Okay, let me get lettuce. A little more. Oh no, that's too much. Can you take that off? And I'm sitting there just going, dude, I really want my sandwich and I want to go home, right? I can't deal. Like, I cannot cope with it. It freaks me out like nobody's business. So as I'm standing there and I'm continuing to go through, and then okay, anything else? Oh, well, let me get the mild pepper. Ooh, maybe not the mild. They get me gassy and whatever. And I'm just like, look, I'm sure you're a nice lady and I'm sure your family loves you, but get the fuck out of the line. Like, just get the fuck away from me and allow me to get my sandwich.
No. Would it be inappropriate to have like 2 different lines at those sandwich places?
I know what the fuck I want and I don't know what the fuck I want?
That's what it says. It's like, do you know what you want? This line. Do you want to take forever to figure it out? Go over here. And like, I can just go up and be in the turbo lane. And the person working the turbo lane has like the authority to be like, you took too long, get the fuck in the other line. Go.
Okay, now look at we've got a sandwich artist in front of me. We got a guy who really likes sandwiches, and I'm pissed about this. I haven't talked about it. This had to have been circa 2004 or 5 when I did the first, like, man, these sandwich places are killing me. So I came up with, I've got an idea. I want my sandwich place to be like the library, not a word spoken. Ooh. You know when you go to the DMV and you walk in, right? You walk into the DMV and you've got to, before you even approach the line, you've got to get all the paperwork. Like, what are you here for today? You need this, this, and this. Like, you need photo ID, you need proof of insurance, you need all this stuff, right? So you have to get your stuff and get it all prepared before you even walk up to the, to the counter. So I came up with this hybrid that when you walk into a sandwich, I was like, dude, if I hit the lotto and I had a bunch of money, I would do this just to make the world a better place. So when I walk in, I go, I've got a bouncer at the very front, right? And he's standing by a red rope like you're going into a nice club. And he's standing there. What's going on? Do you know what you want? Blah, blah, blah. You have to pull out a piece of paper and fill out everything and whatever. Show it to said bouncer. He moves the rope. You can walk up. You hand it to somebody. I don't want a word spoken. I want this to be the quietest sandwich shop in life, right? Not a word, not anything, right? You hand it to the person makes it. If you come up with an idea like, can I get black olives? You get your stuff handed back and go back to the end of the line.
Right.
Very much like Seinfeld's Soup Nazi, right? No soup for you. Go back, right? So I go through this whole spiel of how I want it done and whatever, and you don't say a word. At the end of it, they just kind of look, give you a nod, they hand you your thing. Your sub is made the way that you wrote it out. Now, fast forward like 3.5, 4 years. I keep hearing about Witch, man, oh, Witch. It's so good. And I was like, it's a sandwich shop, right? Everyone buys their meat from the same place, does whatever. It's a goddamn sandwich, right? I can't imagine there's anything magical, although their shakes were fucking awesome. So I walk in there completely just, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. And I look and I'm like, man, where's the, and they go, no, bro. You just walk in and it's quiet as a mouse. And I'm like, well, why is it so quiet, right? You grab the bag that, you know, what your sandwich will go in, and everything is printed on there, right? It's just everyone's the exact same. Do you want white bread? Do you want salami, roast beef, this? You check off everything that you want. You walk up. You hand it to the guy. The guy looks at you. They make your sandwich. Then they make your sandwich and do whatever, and you have to write your name on it. The only word you hear in this place is, Jake, sandwich is ready. Huh? In a complete quiet, you go get it. It's made exactly the way you wrote it and whatever, which is exactly the way that my tirade stand-up thing went on what I wanted a sandwich shop to be. And now I'm, of course, being a conspiracy theorist in this manner, that they stole it. Like somebody watched that and went, that's a great idea for a sandwich shop. And then it came up because it did go online and it went everywhere.
It's one of those, like, that guy's one of them there geniuses. Gonna open his shop. What you gonna call your sandwich shop, Pope? Well,
and it would have been.
So we gonna call it a witch.
Well, it would have been different if it was made in like Idaho or, you know, Wisconsin or something. The two states that I deal with on a regular basis are Michigan and Texas, and it's in Texas. That's where it started. And it started by one of the biggest companies or whatever. I actually tried
This is the Illuminati.
because I didn't want to give up on my overall dream, and I figured that I put this in the universe before anyone. I checked in to see what franchises would cost, right? This is a new place and whatever. They wanted like $500,000 to open a witch. I was like, ain't nobody know about a witch. Dude, I'll start Johnny's sandwich shop and do the exact same thing. I'm not paying you $500,000.
Right.
There's nothing special about this place except the shakes were awesome.
Except the name.
You want to know what else Jake created at one point or another in his life? The jumpless jump rope.
That's called the jumping jack. I hate to tell you.
No. No, if you've boxed or you've done whatever, jumping rope is a thing, right? Like I was so into it that yeah, no, that's great, but you don't have keeping the cadence and whatever. Now,
shit, I had one of these.
Did you?
I had one of these.
And it made the clicking sound and whatever, and yeah.
It had the little things, and it went around, and like you never tripped over the fucking rope.
You never tripped up. What's the hardest part of jump roping? Now the problem being, right, jumping rope. If you're boxing and you're, boom, 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 and it's weird. I mean, it works your upper part, your biceps, your whatever. And it is great exercise. But winter, right? We live in the goddamn frozen tundra, right? So I would go in the basement. And I try and I take the rope and I put it on the handles and I try and, because it would hit stuff.
Right.
Even if you went in the garage and you do whatever, if you got one little jump off, you'd smack a rafter and it would break your cadence and whatever, right? So I went down and I took the handles of jump rope and I cut them off and I put like washers on the end. So I'd try one washer. No, that's not, because you get the feel of the jump rope going over. So I put the rope about this far, I put the washers on and did whatever. And I went, so I made a very rudimentary version of this, right? And I was like, but wouldn't that be neat if every time a revolution, that you revolved around the thing, it would, that's neat. And then I wrote down a bunch of stuff like, make a counter, like how many times did I do and whatever. So it's digital.
Counter on it.
Yeah. So I go to my buddy, right? My buddy I have a tendency of hanging out with guys that are much smarter, much smarter than me.
Here, so.
Exactly. Right? So it's kind of you, me, her, the chair. Right? So, it's a good joke, right? Boom. So as I'm doing this, right, I call my boy. I'm excited as balls, right? I feel as if I've come up with something amazing, right? I call him and I'm like, hey, and there's a jump rope, but it does the things and whatever. And I show him the thing and I'm like, look at this, and right. And then if we get some money, we can make a counter and do all this stuff. And he goes, that is the dumbest. That may not be the dumbest thing I've heard today, But that is by far one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I'm not even going to talk to you about it. Whatever. And I was like, but the thing, wouldn't talk to me about it, right? So I sit and I look at my drawings and I got my little jumpless jump rope, right? And I'm in my basement, doing jump rope. I'm sitting 3 years later. Seems to be about a good 3-year variation from when I come up with something and then it shows up in the universe. So I'm sitting there and I look and I go, okay, right? I'm watching late night infomercial, got one hand in my pants, Al Bundy style, right? I'm like, this is good. And I'm clicking away and I'm watching. And hey, the newest craze and the newest, fitness. Because, dude, you can make anything. The body blade, where you just grab a piece of something and you shake it, and all of a sudden that became a thing. The dude probably made like $250,000, which is more money than I had at the time, right?
The shake weight.
The shake weight.
Right.
The fucking,
all you're doing is learning how to give a good old 5-finger shuffle.
Yeah, the old handy. So I do this, and it pops on, and I'm like, oh no, that's my idea. That's my whole thing. And the thing, and whatever. So I call my buddy, and I'm like, put on channel whatever, blah, 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 right? And he looks, and he goes, well, ain't that something? There goes your thing, and whatever. And I went, you mother effer, why do you think I'm friends with you? All this shit I got to deal with. You're socially awkward. Nobody likes you. I teach you how to be social. I've gotten you friends, right? And people are friends with you because they're friends with me. And, you're like my simple friend who's like, an idiot savant and can do math and you see numbers everywhere and shit. You're like Jim Carrey in the movie 13, right? You got all this stuff going on. I put up with all this shit from you. What I need from you is to take my weird fucking cockamamie ideas and turn them into money. No, dude. So he calls me a couple days later and he goes, well, dude, don't get your panties too much in a bunch. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was made and it did whatever. The guy that did it only made like, $295,000 off that. And I went, do you think I would be calling and screaming at you if I had $293,000 in the bank? If I had half of that in the bank, right? We're all working. We're lucky to make $60,000 a year at the time. 290, that's fine. I could have taken a few years off. I could have went, my leg hurts. I'll be back in 3 years after I've done fucked off my $293,000, right? If my penis is still attached and I don't have a sunburn, which I think I'm sunburning under this light right now. So, I'm like, you motherfucker, right? So that was another one. And I've had a few of those where I put it into the universe and did whatever. And yeah, so it's one of those things. I can think of weird stuff and I can come up with great ideas. The follow through, right? I can only do so much, all right? I gotta eat a sandwich and masturbate at some point in the day. I can't just fucking sit.
That's always my downside. You know what I came up with? The fucking robotic lawnmower. I wrote the code for it. It fucking worked. It was like had an algorithm that it tracked where it was on your lawn and it knew where its home was and it had it was gonna have sensors on it and it started raining and it was like, gee, it's raining, so I'm gonna go home, and it would come out and it'd be like, the grass is wet, don't cut it, go back. It'd have like a little weather app and it'd be like, hey, I can't cut the grass for the next 2 weeks because it's going to be raining, so I'm going to cut it now early. And like, you know what I didn't have?
A patent?
Somebody to write the fucking hardware to make the damn thing run.
You should have. You seem smart enough to go to the patent office and fill the paperwork.
I should have, but 3 years down the road, you know what they have? Fucking robotic lawnmowers.
All right, you're next. What have you created?
Nothing. My friend did create a word though. Instead of saying like I'm dead.
For shizzle? That was your friend?
You racist prick.
was it on fleek?
No. What the heck?
For cheesy? No.
No. Stop being racist.
Was it chains?
No. No. Instead of saying I'm dead or I'm deceased, he's like, but now I'm gonna be original and say I'm shitting. 2 weeks later at school, because everyone thought it was retarded for that, but 2 weeks later, everyone was saying, I'm shitting.
Okay.
And it was so interesting, because he tried to take credit for it. He was like, I started that whole thing.
I'm shitty or I'm shitting?
I'm shitting.
Oh, well, that's just...
Would anyone like a little, too much, little TMI? I'm getting ready to leave today. Mike hates me, right? He's got to hate me. Because I'm showing up later and later every day. But I'm still...
Come today?
Okay, a little bit later. It was like 4:45.
Oh my God, dude, he's pissed!
Yeah.
No wonder why
Mike is like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. And look, in the greater scheme of things, I give him paid holidays, and I give him this and that, and I also pay him 3 hours more. I'm getting my 3 hours back. I feel like I've been wrong, so...
It's not like you tell him you're getting your 3 hours back. You just show up later and later. I told him, I was like, what are you going to do when Jake shows up at 7 o'clock one day? He was like... oh, I'm gonna be
I'll be
pissed,
gone.
and I'll tell him to get the fuck out. I might as well work the rest of the shift.
Yeah, no, I ain't even coming in at 7.
Right.
Say, man, shit got weird yesterday. But so today I'm getting ready. Shadow, right? My dog, my old dog. She's a smart old son of a gun. She knows when I'm getting ready to leave, and I go, come on, man, go outside and use the restroom before I go, right? And she does it begrudgingly, but she gets out there and she sees that I'm getting dressed, right? So she stays out there, and she'll stand and stare at me from the yard, and I'm like, hey, come on. I don't want to be too big of a dick because I don't want to stop her like, oh, I was going to take 3 more steps and drop a deuce, but you called me in, so I shit in the living room, right? So I kind of, she's old, right? So I got to, you were there when the medicine was messing with her. So I give her time. So that takes me about 4:15 until I can finally coax her. Sometimes I got to put my shoes on and go out and go, dude, in the house. And
What
she'll,
the fuck are you doing?
right? So she comes in. I get everybody in the house. It's like 4, it's got to be like 4:30. And I'm like, oh,
Bro.
I'm really pushing. So I'm trying to hurry up and whatever. And I go, and as I'm walking, I go, and I fart, right? In the middle of a step. And I went, oh no. And I immediately jump in like half jumping jack, like, no, please don't let my underwears, and I'm like, no. So I stop and I have to do the hobble walk.
Fart your fans, bro?
I sharted, but I did this, but I spread it. I spread out enough. So I spread out enough and I went, oh no. And I've got an ass, right? So I've got an ass crack about, even if it does, if I got some room to penetrate. You shart, it's over, right?
it's not.
It's the thing. So I go, oh no. So I clinch and I do the crab walk of, oh no, I didn't just crap myself. So I drop and I'm like, and as I'm doing it, Travis is in the kitchen and he's getting ready. He's got an Uber and he's like, goddamn Uber, rah, rah, rah. And and I drop trout. And I'm like, please don't be in my pants, or please don't be in my shorts. Please don't be in my shorts. So I pull down and I go, haha. It didn't make it to my boxers. And I went, sweet. So I didn't poo my boxers, but my ass crack is like spackled with,
Right.
watery
You kind
poo.
of blew out a little bit.
And it was water. I took a Mucinex earlier, which messes with my stomach. Mucinex on top of coffee.
there you go.
Dude, you gotta know if you're
gotta be
farting or not.
prepared for that.
But see, I didn't like go, oh, maybe I should fart. I was in mid-step. I was like,
Yeah, there was no plan involved. I'll give you a good.
but it ended up working out fine. But it made me later because then I had to wipe my crevice and get everything all tightened
Right.
up,
Jump
do
in the
whatever.
shower for a minute.
I did. I didn't jump. I just got out of the shower, so I was like, balls. What am I going to do? So I
Right.
took and I wetted down the thing and I got everything tightened up and I sprayed just in case I was wrong. I sprayed some cologne on my buttocks. So and Scoob's like behind me, like, and whatever, and I'm spraying. I'm like, dude, you're going to get cologne right in the face, bro. So I sprayed the balls and the crotch, from the outside and the butt, just in case, like, maybe I didn't see it, and maybe, I'm wearing dark clothes, so I don't know. And then I came in, and Mike, I walk in, and I'm like, hey, man, I didn't even get, like, hey, dude, I pooped myself, shadow, like, whatever. He was, I gotta go shopping for my grandma, and he shuffled out, and I was like, my bad, guy.
Dude, you're making him angrier and angrier every day. He's gonna end up truly on the dark side.
Yeah, I don't care. But did you shit yourself on the way to work today?
Bro, it's called a bathroom.
Yeah,
Why
take
would I
a step
shit my
and
pants?
Yeah.
pool water
There
falls
was
out.
no planning. It wasn't like I really got to shit, but I got to go like to get my dog, and then oh man, wrong.
Wait, but
No.
I have a serious question.
My-
If girls do short their pants, imagine they're wearing a thong and leggings. Like, wouldn't it go straight through?
I don't know. Does it?
I don't know. Like, I've always been curious.
Oh, you will know. Put a couple more years under the belt there, sister. All right, go ahead. What do you got
So-
there, fur hat?
A lot of people know that I used to be a snowboarder. Well, I still am a snowboarder,
about
but
to
I
say.
used to do it at a lot higher level than I do now. So I was out at a snowboard camp over the summer, and I named the one because there's 2 of them, and I want them to pay me to name their snowboard.
That's
camp.
right.
So if they're listening, which you aren't, but if you are, come give us money. But I was out at one of the camps, and it's a summer camp, so you go up, and there's one chairlift. And you don't take the chairlift, because to take the chairlift, you got to, like, go through the entire terrain park that they've built specifically for the campers for the week, and then you got to go down, and you got to through the valley, and pain in the ass, we just don't do it. So you hit a feature, you take your snowboard off, you hike up. Well, I'm gluten intolerant. Except we didn't know that I was gluten intolerant. And when you're at a summer camp, what the fuck do they feed you other than hot dogs on buns and hamburgers on buns and white bread and everything?
Peanut butter
that
and
is
jelly, I'm
peanut
sure,
butter and
snuck in
jelly
there.
and sandwiches. Well, at the time, I'm on the jump line. And so you hit a jump line, you take off a snowboard. And I get up there and I'm like, man,
You got bubble guts.
my tummy, it's rumbling. I'm like, I think I might need to go down and find the porta potty. And you can't just go down and find the porta potty. You're 13 years old. You have to go find a counselor. And so I'm like, hey man, I really got to take a shit. I'm like, well, can you hold it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm bubbling over here. I really got to go. They're like, all right, well, hit the jump line, come back up. I'll get everybody over here. Our whole group will go down. I'm like, all right, cool. So I hit the first jump, and I'm like, I'm doing my thing, and I got my headphones, and I'm jamming out, and I'm doing my little 13-year-old I'm a badass thing, and I shorted the second jump, and I landed on the knuckle. And what the knuckle is it's the part of the jump that the landing starts at, this part right here. This is called the knuckle. When you land on it from 50 feet in the air, you bounce. And when you have bubbly, churning guts, and you hit it, and the shock wave hits you, everything kind of relaxes for a second. So I hit the ground and I knew it immediately. There was about a split second of like, maybe it's snow. Before it was like, it's not
The
snow.
fact that it's hot and it smells like Campbell's Chunky Soup.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I just fucking go? Like, obviously I'm not going to be like, I just shit myself. Like, I need to go.
Please tell me you went down the mountain as if like in the most epic, like there's this trail like you blew out a trans line behind you.
Nope. I walked back up the hill, got the entire group, and was just like, no, I just got to shit. There's nothing wrong. I just got to shit.
Why do you smell like shit right now?
It's fine, man. I just got to take it. I got to go to the bathroom. I'm farting real bad, man. I really got to go. Went all the way down the hill, and it was just... And at the time, it's like, you can't just be like, gee, I got to change my pants. Base camp is 30 minutes down the mountain. So it's like, all right, I got like half a roll of toilet paper. The underwear's gone. That's just first and foremost. See you to that. I got a layer underneath. All right, so we're just gonna. There go those pants. Those pants are gone. I'm wearing nothing but my all natural and snow pants
That are damp from yeah.
kind of smelly, and I think maybe not quite as clean as I would hope they would be.
You
And
have to sit down.
I went and I sat down on the chairlift and I cleaned myself up and I put some toilet paper back there to make sure that
Yeah, as a buffer,
we got
yeah.
the bits and everything.
Poop square.
No,
See?
I was about to say,
It's a
how
little
did it
poop
feel
square.
to sit on your own shit?
And I just kind of sat down and I didn't think about it and I rode the rest of the day and then I went and took a very long shower at the base camp when I got
Yeah,
back.
just
which is,
a horrible like.
yeah, but I rode for like 4 hours just being like, I think there is poop. On
Dude,
my boot right
I've
now.
never and dude, snow poop is a thing. I had a buddy of mine, and I lived right across the way, right? And we like, as kids, you would like walk like 35, 40 minutes to go play football with your buddies.
Right.
And I took the kid who lived across the street was a friend of mine, but not like a really good friend. He was kind of a persnickety dick or whatever. And his older brother was a dick. He was kind of a dick, and his little brother was cool as shit, right? The little brother's cool as shit, but he was a little brother, right? It took until he got older until I got to be friends with the little brother. So we go all the way over here. We play football. We do whatever. We're on the long, like 35, 40-minute walk back, which is probably elongated by an extra 10 minutes because we're tired. We just played football for like, an hour or two. So we're walking back, and he's like, dude, we're close. We can't be but 10 minutes away from the house. And he goes, oh. And he walked and went. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? He was like, man, I got to poop. I really got to poop.
I gotta go now.
And I went, well, dude, we're right there. And I was like, well, let's run, right? It's a young version of me. I will just run for no apparent reason. I go, well, let's run. And he was like, I can't. He was like, and he's doing this. And I went, dude, why are you walking so funny? He was like, and dude, we can't be but like 13, right? And he's like, I gotta, man, I can't run. I really gotta poop. And I went, oh. I go, dude, you're walking funny, right? Like, what are you doing? This isn't right. So we're giggling and we're laughing, and as we're going, so now I'm like jogging in place next to him, and I'm like, oh, I was like, come on, man, you can make it, you can do this. And he's like, man, stop it, leave me alone. I'm like, clench your butt cheeks, man, you can get it. So now I'm clowning on him, and I'm like jumping around and laughing at him, and all of a sudden, dude, his face goes with the most troubled look ever in life, and he's like, oh, and he keeps walking, and I'm like, no. I'm like, did you? He was like, don't talk to me. And all of a sudden, I get like a whiff. I'm like, because we're in cold air. Like, if you fart outside right now, dude, it like expands, right? I don't know what the fart molecule does in the cold.
The heat just like.
Yeah, well, yeah, all that heat coming out of nowhere, and I'm like,
there's some fart science
I'm like,
for you.
oh, I'm like, no, you didn't, bro. And he's like, bro. So I run behind him, and like an idiot, and maybe this is why I like my dog Scuba so much, is I run behind him and I go, and I'm standing, like I'm walking behind him, and you see like his pants go, and I'm like, oh, I can see your poo. I can see your poo. You pooed your pants. I was like, no, you shit yourself. I'm like, what are you, 6? Rah. So I'm busting his balls, and he's like, dude, shut up. And he was like, dude, you can't tell anybody about this. You can't tell anybody about this. And I was like, you've got to be out of your fucking mind. I'm 13, and you just shit your pants, and you've got to walk like, I can just now see your house. We got another 5 minutes. Like, dude, you poop your pants. And I'm like this and whatever. And finally, dude, he doesn't talk to me. He just goes right to his house. I think he's crying by the end of it, right? Could be because of the poo, like, all over him. Or it could be because I'm busting his balls. So we go in the house and whatever. And this isn't something you tell, like, hey, Dad, guess what? Dude across the street pooped his pants and did whatever, right? So you don't really have that conversation. So I kind of forget about it. Until I make it to the bus stop the next day, right? And I meet up with the dudes I'm actually friends with. And I'm not really friends with this guy. He just lives across the street. And when I don't have other friends around, he happens to, hey, you want to play football? Right? So we get over there, and I tell everyone, dude, he comes walking up to the bus, and they're like, oh, poo pants, and hey, man, I smell something. You got a poo, and what? And dude, just the 13-year-old ball busting was the greatest thing ever in life. Right. Needless to say, I don't think he ever spoke to me again. And he lived right across the street. I told everyone about his poo pants.
I would never speak to you again.
No. Dude, at 13, there is no way that you can hold a secret.
I'm about to say there's no
So I gotta.
What you got?
Not 13, but there was a kid. When I was a junior, he was in 8th grade. So I was on the water polo team for my high school. And I hear this story as a senior about this kid who's going to play on our team. And I'm not going to say his name, but they're telling me about how the last day of 8th grade, this kid was sitting in class and everybody started to smell something weird. Then they looked down and there was a big turd coming out of his pant leg.
So he hard pooed?
And I was like, hey, the logic, the physics of that, like, that can't be real. Like, you're busting my balls here. Like, how do you, if you're sitting down and you take a shit, how does the entire thing in one piece, like, travel down your leg? Well, come to find out from one of the teachers that I was friends with, this is absolutely true. He asked to go to the bathroom, the teacher said no. And so instead of just being like, fuck you, I'm not going to shit myself, he just kind of leaned up out of his seat a little bit and just let her go.
Made room for the poo?
Right. Made room for it to, like, come out and, like, go travel through the boxers and down the pant leg and just kind of shook it out onto the floor and then just sat right back down like, I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
Dude, I want to know where he is now. That's a dude who does not let shit get in his way.
Right.
You know what I mean? That dude's got to be a CEO or a Fortune 500 company or something.
He denied it. He wasn't like, yeah, they wouldn't fucking let me go to the bathroom, so I shit on their floor. Because fuck them. Because that's how I would.
Which would have been a gangster move.
Had they said that to me, I threatened to do it multiple times. Where I was like, I got to take a pee, and they're like, you can't. We're in the middle of a test. And I'm like, I will piss on this fucking desk. You want to try me, like? And they knew I would do it too. They knew I would do it, so they were like, fine. Go. In
my mind, you had that same hat on, and you were like 13, right. Like, dude, I will do it. Look at my hat, bro.
Look at my hat.
I wasn't a tiny or a big guy. I was a tiny guy, so I'd like stand up and be like, I will pee on my fucking desk. I will walk up to your desk and I will whip my dick out and pee, and then you will be a sex offender for touching my penis. And just give them that like
hall pass.
Yeah, and just do it with like the blank stare of like you're going to jail for looking at my dick.
I'm sorry, but the last 2 days with you in that hat, every version of story you tell me, you have that hat on.
Yep. And it's even better if you just imagine that I'm somehow now Russian in the past. So
it could be.
Just like I have that little tinge.
A Russian would have peed and taken a swig of vodka right there, and just there would have been no conversation.
I mean, I'm sure there was vodka involved in that story somewhere. This was in like high school, so I probably had vodka in my backpack. Let's be honest.
This is a good trick.
It's not a very good idea.
So you haven't pooed yourself. You haven't threatened to pee on. I still got to get you the shiwi.
No,
remind me to get the shiwi. Have you peed your pants?
I had to.
Why?
Because we were all super duper extra.
I want her to pee standing up and understand the love and the understanding of peeing while standing, but go ahead.
No, we were all literally like had to use the bathroom. really high. And this is like Birmingham in like Southfield, Michigan. We're in Birmingham. We have to go to the bathroom. And there's like
But you're black,
literally
so
like
nobody
9 of
would let
us.
you
So it's
in.
not like all of us could just go pee. God, we're sitting here. We were at Starbucks. Their bathroom's out of order.
Well, that's why how I know you're a white girl. You're at Starbucks and you gotta
Yes.
pee.
What
All right,
you
go
mean?
ahead.
I didn't have money for Starbucks.
No, but you were silly.
That sounds like
Oh, no,
most.
I had to go
That
to
sounds like
Starbucks.
most white women. But go ahead.
No, we were literally in there. The bathroom's out of order. We're all like, what do we do? What do we do? And I'm with like 3 girls, and the rest are just guys, and we're just like, oh my god. The guys are like, I'm going lumberjack style. I'm like, no, I don't want to be put in that position. My friend Alex, she just went. She's like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not about to stand here and just watch the bathroom until they open it or something. I knew somebody was in there. I knew someone had to be. It's like your dumb shit sign. I knew somebody had to be in there peeing. I was like, no. Hannah's standing there. She's just drinking her drink peacefully. I was like, I know you gotta pee. She's like, yeah, but it's so good. You're such an idiot.
So did you go outside of Starbucks to pee yourself, or did you pee yourself right there in
I went on
Starbucks?
the side of a building.
Yeah.
I
What else are you
literally.
gonna do?
But you don't have the girl where you can drop trow and like sit in that weird
Right,
like
just
it
like-
looks like you're sitting in a chair
I
but
don't
you're
know,
not.
I
You just
walked
kinda like-
up because I was so mortified. Like because I was wearing a dress, I took my my spandex shorts off and my thong, and I just went like that and just let it go so it doesn't fall down my leg or anything. It's just like. They're like, oh yeah, get the fuck out. They're like, can't you squat? Hell no, I'm not squatting.
Yeah, you did the one leg up like that's
Right.
What if that hit the bottom of my dress? Fuck that.
In my head, the way I picture this is that you can kind of see things at the right angle, and she's just sitting there
Just
on the
go.
wall, and somebody just like somebody walks by, and she's like, hey, no,
yeah
no.
sipping on the Starbucks,
right.
running right
No,
through
I
me,
still-
bro.
No, I peed so
Hitting the
fast.
vape
I was like,
was tough.
get out of me, get out of me. They're like, what if you gotta take a shit? Hell no.
Yeah, you're in the same position to take it.
I mean, I've gotten drunk at bars and been walking home and been like, man, I gotta piss like right fucking in that alley, and gone down there and just been like, ah. And like some homeless guys walk by and you're just. Done.
Yeah, no,
Because what the fuck are you gonna do at that point? You're gonna be like, oh Jesus, oh my God! You're just, no, this is my dick. Say hi.
sometimes you gotta pee.
I had to piss and I'm drunk and
Well, on that note, just in case anyone was ever wondering what goes on in either pre-show or post-show, this is the post-show. And, you know,
it.
so enjoy the pee and poo talk. And please remind me, dude, while we're sitting here, dude, I'll go on Amazon and get the goddamn Shiwi.
Yes.
Dude, just
Dude, if I could pee
we'll
on
be
a
chanting.
cock, I would be happy as hell.
It's more like an
That'll be
old school
Christmas
funnel for that you used to have to put in oil cans or whatever, but I think you put it in your Hey Nanu and you pee and it just kind of, it's like an ice luge. Yeah.
like an ice luge.
Yeah, it's like a pee ice luge.
Actually, what is the purpose of that?
So you can pee standing up. If you're out somewhere and you're like, oh my God, I gotta pee, and there's nowhere to sit down, or you're
just
wearing
kinda
something and you can't, you just go whoop and you put it in the front of you just slide it in your little
Jesus,
doohickey.
I have a cock. I don't want that.
I'm fairly certain people
Oh,
think that
shit,
might be
I
the case
remember
now.
The story that we're gonna have to lead off with.
Yeah.
Me going into the wrong restroom.
All right. Well, which is not a problem anymore, but when this story happened, I bet it was.
may be part of this story.
All right. Well, that's what's up. This is ending the post show. Holy crap, dude! We just knocked out 34 minutes of post show.
There you go.
All right.